Let me grab my headset. Hold on. We're live, by the way. Hello, hello. What? I can't hear you, bro.
Can you hear me?
No, you sound fucked up. I don't know why.
Sure.
Try again. Oh wait, actually. Oh, it's
Oh,
my fault.
no.
It's my fault.
Look,
I had your volume
you
like
hear me
super
now?
low. Yeah. It was me. My bad.
Oh, it's you?
Yeah. It wasn't like I always have the volume on everybody kind of low because.
Oh, okay.
What's up, man? How does it feel to be
Oh,
back?
not bad. Not bad. Just I made a burger today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, homemade.
Fuck yeah. Was it good?
Got some 85% lean beef. Frank's
85%.
85%. Some Frank's red hot sauce.
There is no
Um,
other hot sauce.
and some of the powder spice stuff. Frank's red hot, man.
Oh, dude, I'm streaming without a hat. Oh, that's better. Dude, Frank's is a shit. I love Frank's.
Yeah, it was not bad. Not bad. First time making patties without a grill though.
Oh, how'd you make it?
I just like fried the sides and then put it in the air fryer.
You air fried your burger?
The patty.
Hold on a second. Out here looking wild. All right, you air fried the patty. Dude, my hair is fucked. This is why I wear a hat, everybody. By the way, you're seeing why I just wear a hat because putting on a headset. GG's. Anyways. You air fried the patty, is what you're saying? Well, yeah,
Fry
of
the
course.
sides. Fry the sides and then air fry the patty. Like
Why don't you
get the
just
sides
saute the whole
crispy.
thing?
What do you mean?
Like, if you're, why don't you just cook it in the pan?
Oh, I don't know.
Like, why air
The air
fry it?
fryer was on because I made potato wedges too.
Bro, like 2 minutes, like 2.5 minutes each side. Done.
Yeah, I just put it like 1 minute each side and then threw it in the air fryer.
Do like 2.5 minutes each side. GG's.
Yeah, because I had the air fryer out. So I was making potato wedges with the burger. Good, good. Yeah, just threw that patty in there, let it air fry itself for a little bit, 5 minutes.
I don't know if you saw the title, but by the way, I'm not the Tanky. He is. So
These are just blind accusations.
it gotta get people to watch somehow. Felt like calling you a Tanky was my best bet. Was I wrong? I'll change it.
You can call it. I don't care.
Why are you a Tanky, Jimmy?
These are accusations.
Why why do you come across as a Tanky, Jimmy?
People call me a tanky
Why do people call you a
on
Tanky,
Twitter
Jimmy? Oh yeah?
because they refuse to take into consideration historical events.
Oh, like what? Explain.
I mean, it's like the Russia-Ukraine stuff, for example.
Russia, Ukraine. Okay, go on.
In the arguments, I would bring up, the chaos that's happening over there. It started not in 2022, and there's a reason for all this. Called a tanky.
So you got called a tanky for that?
Yes, I did.
That's not really
They're
fair,
bringing up history. Too much
bro.
history, The libs
Yeah.
can't take it.
Is it who can't take it though? Is it like which side?
What do you mean with side? It's always liberals.
Is it
Liberals call you
liberals?
tanky.
What does the right call you?
Uh, Honestly, the American right, for reasons for themselves, actually have a similar mindset, similar approach to this conversation with tankies, actually, for some reason. Oh, I know the reason, but usually that's not the case.
So the American right is usually just like liberals in terms of how they treat tankies. Or that's your experience. Obviously it's all anecdotal.
No, no, no. I'm saying the American right, like the conservatives,
Yeah.
Republicans, at least some of them, they're approaching the Russia-Ukraine situation with a similar mindset as so-called tankies on Twitter. They don't approach it historically. They just go at it from the Biden White House is corrupt. Um, Ukrainian, there's Nazis in Ukraine and Hunter Biden stuff. So that's how they approach it.
Okay.
And in retrospect, in some ways, because of that, they agree with some of the stuff that is said about uh, Ukraine among tankies. So-called tankies that the liberal Americans call tankies.
So what it like for those of you that are watching, because who knows? What is a tanky?
Uh, I guess it would be basically be like one of those slurs that liberals call people who lean authoritarian left, or they deem lean authoritarian left.
I would immediately think like initial Russia, like the formation of the USSR.
Something like that. I think the term tanky first came up when because like it's a term when a lot of these countries such as Russia and China, whenever things happen, they roll into tanks. So then they call the people who agree with these specific things tankies.
So
Like
you
the commie
agree
slur.
that like the government should just roll in tanks when like people are
No,
acting.
if these are people who say that I'm that. I never said I agree.
So
They claim that I agree. That's why it's a slur.
so are you less authoritarian than that?
Well, it depends. It
So you
depends.
you think that sometimes it's okay to take that approach?
It depends. What exactly are they talking about? Because like
Well, I'm just
all
saying.
words are misconstrued, right?
Well, I'm not trying to misconstrue your words. I'm saying that is there a situation where you think the government has a right to pull out tanks? Mm-hmm.
Hmm,
Hmm. Or
that's a
what's a
good
bet?
question.
I would ask a better question. In what situation do you think the government should pull out tanks or the military against their own people? When is that okay? When would you say that's okay? If you think it's okay at all.
I don't
Because
necessarily think it's okay at all.
I'm kind of conflicted, if I'm being honest.
Why?
Well, I think of like a militia. Like if you have a, let's say like an entire state becomes a fucking terrorist state, you know, I understand why we would pull out tanks to try to control the situation. Am I for it? I don't know. I think I would have to like actually have a discussion to understand more.
Right.
But I think that's the whole point of like a national guard, the militia there to protect you from those
Yeah.
like
So
absurd
in
things.
cases where there's massive insurrection in the United States and our government goes more authoritarian and pulls out the tanks, technically it would be considered tankies too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like to me, that's stinky. So like, what I feel like a lot of people actually agree with that.
No,
Really?
no. I don't think a lot of people actually agree with that. I mean, that's why tanky is used as a slur against people with who basically support who supported like old school USSR and communist China like that.
But supporting like is that's complicated because like of course I'm going to support certain things that the USSR did, like giving people equity. I mean, or more equality than anything actually. But still, um, I don't know. I feel like that's really complicated to me because like there's certain things that the USSR did, that Cuba did, that certain countries did when they were going through a revolution. That is something we all should look at and say, hey, we could do this too, without the bad. But supporting that doesn't mean like I support the USSR. Just because I support equity for women and I support animal rights doesn't mean that like I'm saying let's pull out the tanks. It's just different.
No, I definitely agree with that. But like I said, these are liberals coming at you with slurs that they want to make out, you to be. So
I
what
feel
can
like
you
that's
do
not a.
about it?
I guess like I feel like that's not. Well, maybe it is a liberal in the USA because it's weird how a liberal would say that.
I'm pretty sure they're the ones who came up with.
Well, it's like the vaccines, like, and and how do you want to get people to get vaccinated? Like, and where how far does the word tanky go? For example, if you want to vaccinate an entire population and you say, hey, if you don't have a vaccine, you're not allowed to take anything that's public, you're not allowed to go into any public spaces, you literally have no rights as a citizen in this country unless you show your vaccination card. I agree with that, but does that mean, I mean, would that be considered tanky? It's extremely oppressive.
Yeah,
I would say that's more oppressive than rolling tanks out onto the street, to be honest.
I still
So,
think it really depends. It depends. It's how they define you. It's not how you define yourself.
well, yeah, I guess like that's the fuck part. Like overall, I mean,
Unfortunately, they can say what they want to say about it.
yeah, yeah. No, I get you.
But usually the term tanky is more towards, people who support certain regimes. That's how it's associated.
But
Um,
supporting them, because like I would, I mean, for those of you that have been watching, now that people are like starting to hop on, and if any of you watched like the episodes before, you know that not that I am full blown like communist or anything like that, but I do believe in a lot of the things that Cuba stood for in 1940 and then again in 1959. I would stand up for those things today. I wish the American population would as well. Um, so that's what's like kind of confusing to me because there's also this need to protect each other for when others are causing harm. And that's why you want a big government and not a small government, in my opinion. I think you can argue either way, and um, I think that usually smaller governments have quite the military, and bigger governments, there's a lot more regulation, a lot more bureaucracy, which protects you from the military. So, in a country like the USA, I rather have a big government where there's so much red tape that it's much harder for the military to be used in a heinous way. It's much harder for the government to be so corrupt because there's so many more people in there. I want the people to represent the government, not a select few. That where do you stand on that, Jimmy?
I because I'm lean more towards that, I would agree. But the point being, if you talk about the United States in that way, that becomes very scary.
Gary?
Yeah, so it becomes very scary because the American government has not necessarily been the best if you're talking about, for the people stuff.
Oh, we're fucking
Anything.
horrible. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we have a history of being very sus. And if you apply that with this idealistic, you know, big government stuff, I don't think a lot of people, not even the Republicans, are okay with that.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well,
And
Republicans are
and libertarians of the US.
they're
And then the question is like liberals, and it gets even worse because they have no idea.
liberals are the worst.
Liberals are the worst.
Just so everybody here knows, uh, Jimmy and I are leftists in some type of way, but when it comes to liberals, we both hate liberals. Anybody who's gonna like, even I'll do it sometimes, but just to make this clear, anybody who's gonna be like okay with an Elon Musk, but also talk about like universal healthcare, I don't believe you. Just saying, you're lying. You're not telling the truth. Um, and I think that in this country, it's like I'm not too familiar with like international politics. Like I wish I kind of was, but as far as I can tell, we have a very weird approach to liberal policy. It's like we support an oligarchy.
We do.
Well,
Well,
the
technically
liberals
we
do.
are.
Oh no, I know.
Yeah.
It feels like the liberals do that,
Oh, they definitely do that. They do that a lot.
but I don't think that other countries. Usually, it's like anti-oligarchy or like it's just a different approach. Like they it's like personal freedoms or anti-oligarchy. But I feel like in the USA, it's personal freedoms or pro-oligarchy.
Yeah,
That so it's like kind of
that makes sense.
confusing why like where we are the way we are. And even if you were to say capitalism, well, that's not true because France is somewhat most like is capitalist to a degree. And they don't look at it this way. Like they still have like social programs. That's very normal for them
There's just too much money in politics.
in the USA.
Yeah, I think that's a big factor in why you don't have a choice but to choose all these bad options.
Did you see the Joe Rogan podcast a few days ago?
No, I haven't listened to him in a while. He's been
So
saying a lot of weird stuff.
so he kind of came back to like the liberal side for a second. It was weird.
In
Uh,
what topic? What was he talking about?
Gay marriage.
Does he support it now or something?
Well, he was like, it's almost like Republicans just want to keep us fighting against each other.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's
It,
not wrong.
he's not wrong, but it's like, why are you saying this now? Because like he's also the person that continued to make us fight against each other.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, dude, you're also the asshole. It's not just them.
He's he's that, what's it called? There's a subreddit.
I'm sure
Um,
there is Jimmy. For those of you that don't know, Jimmy's our redditor. He's
I'm
the
a
team.
dirty redditor.
Yeah,
Something leopard ate my face or something like that.
of course. And what is it about? What's the subreddit?
It's basically people who, talk. It's basically your analogy, where Joe Rogan's like, Republicans just want you to fight against each other, but again, he's the same person who's doing that. So
Oh,
it's like that. So the subreddit is dedicated to usually right wing people similar to Joe Rogan saying stupid shit like that.
that's interesting. That's fucking weird.
Uh,
I
I
mean,
guess you can
it's
say
like
there's a, yeah.
if you say something like that, you also, I mean, this is a very off topic, but we're already here. If you're saying something like that, like you have to look within, right? Like you can't simply say, "Oh, they're making us fight against each other," and then not look at what you've done as well. That would just seem so like such a flawed logic. Uh,
I agree, but they just can't see the hypocrisy.
Interesting, very interesting.
This is a big problem within the United States, both sides.
Well, one's like one just doesn't care, and one tries to hide it.
Yep.
And personally, I'm usually cooler with the people that don't care and just show who they are. I don't like people that hide shit.
Well, that's why everyone hates liberals.
I mean, we say that, but like, I would like honestly, half this country is liberal, like American liberal. So
Yeah. That's why people like us hate liberals.
yeah, I just want to make it clear because there's so many liberals in this country, and I would say most Republicans these days are also somewhat liberal. I think that when things calm down, if they ever calm down, like before Trump and after Trump, if there ever is an era like that, we'll just see us go towards a moderate path again where we're supporting an oligarchy and human rights, like basic rights, are just like frowned upon. Um, like we're arguing about abortion again and fucking gay rights. Meanwhile, a few years ago, like universal healthcare was in a conversation. So we've taken steps back about like decades, not just like a few years.
Oh
And this
yeah.
is why like the hatred towards liberals is so high for me because especially liberal politicians because it's their fault. I'm not going to blame the conservative for doing what they said they would do. And I'm not going to blame like a Supreme Court for doing what they believe that they should do, or like when they actually say it, like they make sense. Like if you let the Supreme Court make sense about like a bit, like literally getting rid of abortion, I think you fucked up as a Congress. And for those of you that don't know, the reason why SCOTUS supposedly got rid of abortion is because there is no law for women to have abortion. How Congress like what were the Democrats doing all these years? 1992, Roe or not Roe, fucking the Casey versus Planned Parenthood got passed. It's been 30 fucking years. Obama could have made it the law when he first won. I understand there was like a fucking recession going on, but like it's just crazy to me to like constantly blame everybody else and not look within. Because yeah, they're assholes, but you guys didn't do anything either for decades. So it's just frustrating. All right, we got off topic and we gotta go back to Cuba. Cuba. So for those of you that have also been watching, just saying it again, Mark's not here today. We were gonna get into Fidel today, so we're not gonna talk as much as we were because he's not here. He decided that it was more important to drink at the bar. and have fun with his friends before he makes one of the biggest moves of his life. Mark's in a moving, so he's like hanging out with his friends like one of the last times, I'm sure.
He's
Only,
100%.
well, I mean, he planned on it, you know. So, with that being said, like I understand, you know. So what we're gonna do today is just a recap. We're gonna do a review. We have Jimmy on, so Jimmy can hear everything. If anybody in chat wants to, you know, put out any of their information, have any questions, anything like that, put that out as well. Again, this is a conversation, and I want this to be a conversation. We're making an entire YouTube video with footage, sound clips, everything, and I want some feedback. We've put in all this work the past couple of weeks trying to get this together. Um, we have like over 100 years of information. We have tons of sources, tons of videos that we plan to show you. And right now we're just kind of going through the script, and I'm just trying to get more and more feedback so I know what the people want. So real fast, we're gonna go from 1818 to like 1950 or so with Jimmy. I have very few new things to talk about today, and honestly, it's just about Fidel's upbringing and stuff, which most people know, but we'll still talk about it just to get the story going. And then tomorrow, since I believe Mark will be here, Jimmy, I don't know if you will, we're gonna talk about the the real revolution, not the 1953 revolution, the one where Fidel actually wins. And we're going to get into JFK, Nixon, Eisenhower. We're going to get into the USA influence and certain things that JFK said. Yesterday, we actually ended with a JFK quote talking about how the USA fucked over Cuba and how we're paying for the sins that we did to Cubans, which is very interesting to me because honestly, I didn't know JFK was so like, he wasn't a flip flopper, but I don't know. I still don't know how I feel about him. I don't know enough about JFK because he wasn't my president.
Well, you know, they do call him one of the better presidents of the US due to, you know, his not so more hawkish nature.
Well,
You know, he did kind of save us from World War III.
I
That's
think
what some
he,
people say, though. That's
yeah.
why some
So
people like him.
everything I've read so far, like he seems like the best president we ever had.
Yeah.
The way he speaks, and I mean,
Who killed him, though?
who killed
Who
him?
got him? Who killed him? Was it the CIA?
I mean, it's hard to tell. Like, we get into the mafia a little bit with Cuba.
Or was
Here,
it the mafia? Because there's theories of both.
that's probably
Or was it the Cubans?
the Cubans didn't
The
kill him.
American Cubans. The American Cubans,
Oh,
that
but the
is.
American Cubans, nah, well, they're still
There's
too
many
young.
theories. Well, no. I'm talking about the Cubans who left Cuba because Fidel Castro kicked them out and took their property and
Yeah,
land.
but that hasn't really happened yet, right? Like, it hasn't. It hasn't. It's only been. I think it's too soon for them to have killed JFK.
Well, there's theories out there.
I know, cause like, but rich people, all some rich people did stay in Cuba afterwards. It wasn't like they all left.
The ones who had their land taken away,
Some of
they
them
left
stayed.
for the US. Well,
So
yeah, some of them stayed, but the
okay,
ones who lost the most and didn't like the result of losing all those, you know, the landlords who lost everything and didn't like it, they definitely came to Florida,
I mean,
and they weren't so happy with JFK's approach to Cuba.
but but his approach. I mean, after the failed Bay of Pigs, what did they expect of him?
Exactly.
So
What
that's
did
the
they expect
thing.
from him? They
I don't.
expected more. That's what their mindset was back then.
Yeah, I just if that was like the if that's honestly why it happened, that would be such a dumb reason, and that would not just like in my mind that just does that's not cool enough.
Well, to this day, Cuban Americans vote Republican
But that's because of the
because
manipulation and like what Cuba became after, especially after the 90s.
That and JFK fucked him over.
I don't know, cause like getting into Cuban politics, especially around this time, they all, from what it seems like, the majority of Cubans believe in human rights and progressive policy.
Bro, Cuban Americans.
Huh?
Cuban Americans.
Cheaper than American?
No, no, the Cuban Americans.
Yeah, but the
They're
Cuban,
they're the ones who vote Republican.
but I, oh man, so like we're gonna get past this. I think probably like next week when we go like start talking about after the revolution. But from what I can tell, nobody in Cuba was a Republican, like ever.
No, I'm not talking about the people in Cuba.
But I'm saying like in their history, like all the people that left Cuba,
Yeah,
none
yeah,
of,
no, I understand. I'm saying like one of the reasons why Cubans are, Cuban Americans vote Republican heavily is they have this animosity towards Democrats because of how they fucked um the situation. They
but
didn't
that's
they didn't take back Cuba for these rebels who left, I guess.
but that's what the Bay of Pigs was for, and it was failed.
Yeah, but they failed, and then JFK didn't want to commit anymore.
Yeah, but it failed under JFK,
Yeah, it did fail under JFK, but
which means like he
he
tried. That's like what's weird.
he did try, but these are not what these Cuban Americans wanted. They wanted to take back all of Cuba from Fidel Castro.
No fucking way, dude. You could do that. And then Nam's
I
right around the
mean,
corner, right?
we have the power to do that though. The
Dude,
U.S.
I don't
We're
think
so
so.
close to Cuba. You don't think we could have taken Cuba back from Fidel?
Dude, it always goes to that quote, like, who's gonna win a war? Those that are paid to fight it, or those that are fighting it because it's what they need to do to save their lives. Like, I never want to fight anyone who's like, because we've had this conversation before. Like, would I rather go to like Ukraine to fight, or would I rather go to like Afghanistan to fight? Fuck Afghanistan, dude. Like they're trying to protect their livelihoods and their lives, and they're not doing it for money. Whereas like the Russian military is doing it for money. The American military is doing it for money. And once you start paying the people to fight the wars for you, their heart isn't in it like a Cuban revolutionary. Like I'm scared of them. So
Yeah.
like, and not that they'll win. I'm not saying that like Cuba would win, but Cuba would be able to
The
do enough
cost
damage.
the costs were too high
Yeah.
for both sides. I mean, there's a reason why the Bay of Pigs failed so bad.
Well, I mean, I think it's because of fucking. It was Nixon's plan, right?
I'm not 100% sure, but
Because Eisenhower
they
started planning it in like '59, and
they
then
got crushed.
we're gonna get into the Bay of Pigs like tomorrow, so we're not gonna talk too much about it today. Um, but yeah, the Americans get fucked in the Bay of Pigs, and it was planned for almost like 2 fucking years. But it seems like JFK got into office and greenlit it in April. He was only in office for like 3 or 4 months, and it had been a planned operation for like almost 2 years. So to blame JFK entirely for it, that's kind of fucked too. But at the time, JFK was the one to seemingly go after Cubans. But then 2 years later, like literally right before he dies, he talks about all the fucked up shit they did to Cuba. Which I guess in that way, like after that speech, it would make sense if like the Cubans started like
Cuban Americans.
Cuban Americans, yeah. All right, let's get into the history. We're like in the video at the end of it, and Jimmy, by all means, if you want to be in it, you can. We're gonna talk about like all the psyops that the USA did, all the crazy shit that occurred. We're also gonna get into conspiracies around some of the weird shit. And honestly, the first conspiracy is gonna be the main for the Spanish American War. We're gonna talk about like just like a quick few minutes of conspiracies that are out there and why they exist and what we believe to be true from our analysis, if we can, have a conclusion.
Mhm.
So,
Quick thought on the Cuban Americans always voting Republican thing. Fun fact: a lot of South Vietnamese Americans, Taiwanese ones, and I guess the Uyghur Americans, all those who like left their home country because they were basically kicked out, they also all vote Republican.
I mean, but
I
that's
don't know if
changing
you knew
with
that.
generations, isn't it?
No, not necessarily. No. They all the especially well, I know for a fact that the Uyghur Americans and the
The
Vietnamese Americans, the South Vietnamese Americans, the ones who came here as refugees and stuff, they vote Republican heavily.
it seems like I don't know. Is that similar to what we did to Cubans coming over to America?
Well, it depends on when they came over. There has to be like a reason why, and the reason does seem like because they were kicked out of those countries, they have this animosity towards. I don't know. They really like Republicans. It's just something that they do. That's I guess a fun fact. It just so happens that these people who were kicked out from their respective countries back then just so happens that they all vote Republican.
Let's get into Cuba,
during
dude.
during Trump rallies, back in 20 something. Well, there were many Trump rallies. You would see uh, Vietnamese Americans. They would be at the rallies with the Trump supporters, majority white. You would see these Asians holding the Southern Vietnamese flag, just like flying and stuff. Same thing. You'll see some Asians with Tibetan flags, Taiwanese flags, the Uyghur separatist flags, uh, just all the various types. You'll see it all, and they all vote Republican.
Just like double checked. 58% of Cubans lean Republican, and 38% lean Democrat.
It also depends when they came here.
Holy shit, that's crazy. Um, look,
What? What's
uh,
crazy?
I'm sharing my screen. I was looking at like what Pew Research did, but we need to go into Cuba. We need to fucking finish that, and we can talk about anything.
Let's go into Cuba.
I just want to get this over with. So fucking
It
long.
was just a fun fact that I realized.
All right, everybody, put on their fucking Cuban hats. All right, we're going to Havana. All right, you ready? A lot of this is gonna be repeat. I'm sorry. Also need to just tell Jimmy like what we've done so far, what we've done on the show a little bit. So Jimmy, I'm gonna try to skip over the things that I know you know, but I'm also going to talk about things for the viewers so that they kind of understand. So starting from the jump, by early 1800s, Cuba is basically a trade port ran by Spain. Slaves are getting dropped off there and sold to highest bidders. Uh, Also in the early 1800s, Cuba is in the talks of becoming part of the United States. The United States knows that they want Cuba, and it's actually anticipated by John Quincy Adams that it'll become a territory by the end of the century. In the mid 1800s, an exile of Cuba, Lopez, he attempts a revolution. This is one of the first revolutions of Cuba in terms of like the Cuban population, not the indigenous, and it fails. He doesn't get the job done, and he has some pushback from the president. And he also has some like support from southern states. And the reason why southern states supported him is because if Cuba became a state of the United States, it was possible that this country could have avoided the Civil War because there would have been two more pro slave senators. That was the idea, I guess you would call it, of the South. Um, what's interesting is that with this knowledge, Lopez took their support and actually attempted to do the revolution in Cuba, knowing that it would have just became a pro slave state, which is confusing because this motherfucker created the flag that Cuba still has today. So not that Lopez was pro slavery, but his supporters were, and the revolution would have caused a pro slavery country. So it's a little confusing why they still use this flag to this day. I think there's a misunderstanding back in the day, and he just continued with it, but that's okay. 1854, President Pierce offers Spain $100 million for Cuba, and if Spain declines, they say we're gonna conquer you. This becomes known as the Ostend Manifesto. He says that we firmly believe that in the progress of human events, the time has arrived when the vital interests of Spain are as seriously involved in the sale as those of the U.S. in the purchase of the island, and the transaction will prove equally honorable to both nations. Um, oh, that's weird. This entire thing got deleted. That's cool. See, this is good while we're going back. Already lost one of my notes. So, anyways, Asa Manifesto is signed, and just a side note about Asa Manifesto. This was written by two gentlemen. Soleil was the guy who actually wrote it. Buchanan was the guy who wrote it in the background. When the First World found out that the USA threatened to take over Cuba, Spain, France, and England immediately called for resignation of the person that wrote it, and they wanted just some type of resolution. Soleil resigns. I'm not sure exactly where he was in office, but Buchanan never gets caught, and this motherfucker goes on to win presidency. So it's kind of funny how Buchanan got to like sneak by and then become a president. So 1868, rich in Cuba rise up. Little interesting tidbit right there. The rich, basically a slave owner, frees his slaves and takes his battle against Spain. He starts asking all the other slave owners, like, "Hey, release your slaves. Let's do this shit." Not everybody is down. In certain areas, people did release their slaves to fight. In other areas, they were on Spain's side. This caused a large mess, and although Spain was slightly weakened, Spain ultimately did win. More revolutions and wars would continue afterwards until 1898, when a ship blows up. And this is what we talked about earlier with conspiracy theories. There's this motto. It's called "Remember the Maine and the Hell of Spain." It becomes a slogan, creating what is considered to be the third war between the Spanish and anyone who's fighting for Cubans' freedom. And the USA wins. It takes about 10 weeks. So at this point, the USA now is a proud owner of Guam, Puerto Rico, Philippines, and Cuba. So Cubans want their independence. We already knew that because of the rich rising up, and now there's the slaves, there's the Cuban born, and the rich, right? So knowing that the USA has always wanted Cuba, and this is their opportunity to basically have Cuba, they signed something called the Platt Amendment, 1901, and this basically allows Cuba to become independent as long as the USA is allowed to intervene if anything was to go wrong. So if any like American interests were threatened, the USA could immediately occupy Cuba. So Cuba is inaugurated. They signed more treaties, and these treaties give the U.S. cheaper access to tobacco, sugar, and it also gives us some land in Cuba. The USA can now buy land in Cuba. This is actually how we got to Guantanamo. So immediately after, we occupy Cuba, basically from 1906 to 1925, on and off. So the initial occupation in 1906 is caused because Palma, the same person that wrote the treaties into place, giving the Americans the power to just come over and occupy when needed. He rigs the elections against Gomez. And since Gomez is the actual candidate that's supposed to win, the Americans come over, they occupy, they hold voting, and Gomez wins again. Surprise, surprise. So they leave. It's 1909. It's only been a few years. And they'll come back, and then they'll leave again, and they'll come back. And it's just a constant rotation. And just a quick side note, one of these interventions, it was due to protests and uprisings by Afro-Cubans. Several were killed by the Cuban army, and the USA actually comes in and continues killing the Afro-Cubans. By the end of this, estimates say that up to 6,000 Afro-Cubans were killed between both forces. And this is interesting because later on, Batista, his military will be made up of Afro-Cubans. So after not only being oppressed through slavery, they're also being oppressed by other countries that are coming over as Afro-Cubans fight for their rights or fight for their freedoms. So towards the end, 19 like late 1920s, there's a president, President Machado, who he initially wins legally his presidency, but he decides he wants to run again. And with so many people in love with Machado, he basically wins presidency. Nobody says anything. The USA doesn't stop him, and the Constitution is, completely just driven over without any type of repercussions. So 1928, you have Machado as president, and as you can think or know, this is right before the Great Depression. So global depression hits, and the USA focuses on domestic means of production, increasing tariffs for all imports. By the way, Jimmy, I have lost so much here that, and it's okay, but we're gonna, I'm gonna have to go back. Dance of the Millions.
Um,
Um, Something I just completely forgot to mention, just because for some reason I got deleted off my notes. Cuba, right before Machado wins this re-election, they just went through this economic period where, because of World War I, they were making money. The USA actually puts a limit to the amount of the price that Cubans can sell sugar for, and the USA just buys all the sugar you can imagine, because all the Europeans, sugar makers, could not make sugar during World War I. This led to a huge demand with one country that had this supply. And at the end of World War I, when that price control is lifted, the price shoots up to about like 22 cents for a pound, or something crazy like that. Maybe it was an ounce. Not, I don't remember what it was, but it drops 4 months later to 3.5 cents. So it goes up nearly, sixfold, and then it just drops. And the Cuban economy, although it's like growing immensely, all this money pours into the streets of Havana. Out of nowhere, the money is gone. So Machado, at first everybody's in love with him, and they're still pretty much loving him in 1928 because the sugar prices, the Cuban people saw that the price stayed above what it used to be. But the problem is with the Great Depression, people aren't really, caring much more about sugar anymore. So the Cuban people start to blame Machado for everything that's going on, as they should, because he did nothing for the people. He was actually extremely oppressive. He killed protesters and anybody who was causing uprisings. The reason why the USA no longer had to occupy Cuba is because Machado just used the military to kill anybody who rose against him. There's fear across Cuba, and U.S. starts to feel like it's time to intervene because Cuba is not as profitable as what they thought it could have been. So there's so much uprising in Cuba, U.S. believes interests are in jeopardy, and they send in Ambassador Wells to mediate the situation. Um, and they do mediate the situation. 1933, they come up with a provisional government to replace Machado. That's May 1933, but August, the provisional government enters, and then in September there's a coup d'état, and then after the coup d'état in 100 days, we're gonna have another regime change. Things are about to get fucking crazy. So let's just dive into it. U.S. doesn't think Batista's gonna pull off a coup, right? So when Machado gives up the government for someone named Cespedes, Cespedes is now has a provisional government. And the US hears that there's like this possible coup that's gonna happen, but they think that everything's gonna be okay. Like nothing bad's gonna happen. There's no way a sergeant is gonna lead like a bunch of sergeants into Cuba and take it over. They were wrong, and they were proven quickly wrong. The students of Cuba and military of Cuba were successful, and they put a pentarchy in place. We'll get into why the students team up with Batista later on. So a pentarchy is basically 5 presidents. It lasts 10 days, and then after the 10 days, they elect one of the 5 presidents to become their president, which is Grau. He becomes president for 100 days, and Batista is the leader of the military at the time. Interesting, Wells he reports to DC that Batista wanted to reinstate Cespedes after Batista couped. Batista's even offered a job outside of Cuba in a United Fruit Company. This is after the Banana Wars. No. When did the Banana Wars happen?
When did it happen?
I'm not sure. I think this is the yeah. This is after Banana Wars. Yeah. I'm right. All right. So this is like right at the end of the Banana Wars. So basically, U.S. Fruit Company, big boy. That's big boy. Where you at? So to bring clarity to what has occurred in Cuba since they gained their independence, you got to talk about the Cuban people in the USA. Few Cubans became rich while a lot of people suffered, and this goes back into like the Dance of the Millions. Although the landowners were making money, the Cubans that were going through all this trouble to create sugar from sugarcane were not getting much. Education wasn't important. All that the people's value was based on the labor that they could provide. And Cuba had became they became a different like type of slave state. They became a capitalist slave state where your labor is all that's important, nothing else. At the same time, the USA has basically taken over Cuba as their playground, and it starts to become known as like like a Las Vegas. Havana is actually considered Vegas before Vegas, so a lot of shit's getting fucked up right around this time. Now, when the thing with Machado is that one of his electoral opponents was Julio Antonio Mella, and he was a political activist that fought for universal education and the modernization of education. He opposes Machado and finds the Cuban Communist Party, which, by the way, it's a Moscow directed party. So this is already kind of sus. USA communism doesn't mix well. Machado's popular in Cuba, even and with a potential communist party. Machado disbands the University of Havana, arrests people of the Cuban Communist Party, and one of the people that were arrested escapes, who happens to be the founder of the party, Mela. He escapes to Mexico City, where he becomes a Cuban Marxist revolutionary. He begins to talk about how they can uprise and take over Cuba. He attempts to work with exiles to overthrow Machado, but eventually is assassinated by unknown parties in 1929. Now, some blame Machado. This is what is still in the Cuban history books. This is what Fidel Castro says, is that Machado ordered an assassination. Others blame the USSR because Mela actually was dating a USSR operative. And there's even a picture of the Italians getting involved with an Italian well-known assassin pictured behind Mela. So regardless of what happened, it seems like Machado, one way or another, found a way to get rid of Mela. And this becomes a spark that, pisses off the students. And like I said before, the students teamed up with Batista. So, for those of you that know about Cuba, Batista, hearing that name, he's an asshole dictator, got it. But around this time, he's none of these things. This isn't who Batista is. So, with the students, violent confrontations begin to occur in Cuba. And on the first day of class, September 30th, 1930, police guard the university and the students march their way into school. It becomes violent, extremely violent. Ultimately, the students are injured, and one of them, Rafael Trejo Gonzalez, dies from his injuries. And nationally, Machado can't cover this up. Nationally, USA sees this, and there's a problem. And some of the country begins agreeing with the students, and others become against them. However, more groups are beginning to uprise against the Machado regime, including more socialist and communist groups, and this forces the USA to send in Wells. And this is what we were talking about earlier with the president, the five president, and the one president, and going from one to another. So that's with the students teaming up. It's expected that Grau will be president and Batista will be in charge of the military. And what this does is it allows you to have a politically progressive leader in Grau, but Batista being like kind of a strong man, he's in charge of the military. He's not, and Batista is not this like ruthless dictator yet. It's a slow burn for Batista's villain story. So he's only president for 100 days, which is weird. Why? How does this happen? What exactly goes on here, right? So Batista fights against any policies that would harm U.S. interests. Batista believes the U.S. is required to be part of Cuba or Cuba would fail. Meanwhile, Grau creates an 8-hour workday, minimum wage, nationalization of labor, unions, price reduction for daily goods, and utilities. But wait, hold on. These are all good things, right? This is everything that you would ever want in a country that is basically gaining back its power from somebody like Machado, someone that has put the country in hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. Grau even had demands for some American companies. At this point, Americans were again they were using it as their playground. Cuba had become a place to go and have fun, and corporations were flooding into the country. But Cuban's life didn't, it had gotten no better. So one of the first things Grau did is he dismisses the president of the Cuban National Sugar Corporation because the president wasn't Cuban; it was the foreigner. And then when an electric company, Electric Bond and Share, refuses to cut the electric rates in Cuba, he sends Batista and the military to occupy all the property in Cuba. And eventually, Electric Bond and Share folds, and they give Grau a 30% discount across the entire country of Cuba. So Batista's even using the military in a way that's pretty impressive. He's getting progressive policies done, and I wouldn't consider this a tanky way. I would consider it in a anti oppressive way. It's just an anti imperialist thing to do. Would you agree?
Yeah.
I'm glad you only had to say yeah. I was like, oh, I'll drink water here. All right, here we go. So, and I am skipping over a lot. We'll get more. Like this is just like a quick like review of everything we've gone over the week. Um, we probably have talked. I mean, we've only been streaming for like I don't know, like 20, 30 minutes of Cuba, and we've been doing like 30 minutes to an hour each day of Cuba. So this is speed running it, just so that we can hear any thoughts or anything like that before we post a video, because to me it's important. But we're about to get into the crazy shit. This is when things get crazy in Cuba. This is the turning point. This is when the story becomes different. So we have this guy Wells that comes in to mediate, right? And on October 23rd, 1933, Wells writes to the Secretary of State about Grau's initiatives to compromise with Batista and opposing parties. Wells claims the Cuban government is willing to open their doors for every party to enter the government. So, Socialist Party could be in the government, Communist Party, Republican Party, it doesn't matter. Everybody can get into the government. But Batista rejects one principle of Grau's demands, and that is Grau will remain president. Batista disagrees, and immediately, and I kid you not, the students began to planning an assassination of Batista. And the reason for this is because they believe that Batista is working with the USA and they're anti-imperialist. So every few hours, more of the story is told by Wells, and by the end of the night, students made deals with each Cuban political party and felt like they could meet Batista to come to an agreement. Next day, Wells continues to write that Batista doesn't agree with Grau's proposal, and some of the political parties begin to break out, and they become terrorist groups in Cuba. The situation begins to get out of hand. Wells isn't mediating it in a way that the USA hoped for, and the student government starts to talk about maybe like leaving the country because they're fearing their lives, not only from Batista or American sanctioned, basically terrorist groups. They're just afraid of what progressing their country forward is going to look like. So October 29th, Wells writes, I'm continuously urging upon all the necessity for a peaceful solution and the fatal results which are bound to occur if, through conspiracies, the army is split up into factions. The consensus of opinion, I'm glad to say, is against revolution and against a coup d'etat, but the latter is a definite possibility. If an agreement is basically not made, this can be carried out immediately, meaning the coup d'etat. So November 2nd, 9 bombs go off in Havana, one in a police station. Automobiles start to do drive-bys at the presidential palace. And remember, some of the students already began to leave, and now even more are starting to leave, right? It's scary there. Um, and gunfire starts being heard throughout the night, and Wells is getting scared. Wells, the ambassador, he's like, bro, please get me the fuck out of here. So Grau actually requests a meeting with Batista the following day after these bombings, but Batista denies the meeting. And Batista and Grau aren't like, they don't hate each other, by the way. I know it may seem like that, but they just have a different way of leading. And we're going to see that in the future because Grau actually will run against Batista 10 years from this day and win. And they'll shake hands, and Batista will sail off into the sunset, kind of. But, anyways, November 4th, but Grau decides that he's gonna resign. His entire office that's left anyways hands him their resignations, and he says, okay, I resign as well. But, and of course, what timing? A false report is ran by a Cuban newspaper claiming the USA and Batista are working together and Marines would be arriving soon. Yeah, Marines were coming over there because the country was fucking literally running an illegitimate government, according to the USA. Meanwhile, in the country, they were just trying to like create progressive policy and just, make their country operational without the USA intervening in every fucking thing that existed. So it's crazy to me that like Wells is writing this because yeah, of course the Marines are fucking coming over. And of course there's like people are like planning to kill you because you are the reason why their country is the way it is today. So, anyways, a mutiny breaks out, and Grau rescinds his resignation. And it's only been 2 weeks, and it's getting intense. And this is everything we're talking about is like coming from Wells in his telegrams, and it's written like a movie. Honestly, um, it is kind of fucked when you think about all of this coming from one person. And there's other accounts that we have of this, just making sure that we verified and checked it. So November 6th, after the University of Havana makes it clear that they cannot be controlled by Grau, he starts to lose face, and the people start to see that maybe he cannot run the country. But so does Wells, because as he writes, student paper Alma Mater yesterday carries out a front page editorial demanding my immediate withdrawal from Cuban on the ground that he's an envoy of Wall Street, that he's conspiring to establish a government in Cuba that would basically become an American dictator. Now, what's crazy is that the students aren't. And we'll see this soon, but basically Batista is working his ass off to get the Americans on his side. And remember, Wells, like, he's asking to leave and he wants to leave. He actually meets with the president, and we're not sure what happens in that conversation. But Wells comes back for a few more weeks and he discusses with Batista what the future of Cuba can be. And what this leads to is Batista and Grau having a conversation where eventually Grau would hand in his resignation. Um, Looking at all of this, um, Machado fucked over Cuba harder than you could ever imagine. When people talk about Batista and like his dictatorship and everything bad he did, I don't think people understand how much worse they had it under Machado and how much better it became under Fidel. There's this constant we look at Batista and we say he's a horrible person, and he was a fucked up person. He is a bad human. But Batista did what the Americans wanted him to do to control the fallout from Machado, because Machado was even worse. So that's the kind of country that we're talking about right now. Cuba is trying to find their foothold, and every time they get anything going, there's another revolution, and it's because of the Americans. There's no other way of putting it. The American interest gets in the way of Cuba ever advancing forward. Um, so that's 1933, and we only have like 20 more years to go. So remember, Batista isn't the president. Even though that the Grau resigns, that doesn't make him the president. And as much as we talked about up to this point, the blood that has spilled is not really considered then when we're thinking about the future and what's about to happen. And Batista, he decides he's going to get things done with words and not really fear. Sometimes he'll be fearful, and he'll strong arm someone, but he's not this pure like strong arming figure as he would become in the future. And when I say he gets things done, looking past like everything that we talk about, including the coup, Batista met with Grau in 1934, and he was direct about the Cuban future and explained that the U.S. was better as a friend than an enemy. And this is what ultimately led to Grau handing in his resignation and going into exile. The U.S. at this point has taken control of the country, and the students and the people of Cuba, they're not in a place to fight against the United States. In January 18, when Grau flees and Colonel Mendieta becomes President Mendieta, for the first time in about 115 days, the U.S. Embassy in Cuba receives a telegram stating, under authorization of the President, you will please extend immediately to the government of Cuba on behalf of the U.S. a formal and cordial recognition. So under Batista, the United States had said, hey, you are now a real government. Something that Grau even asked for and never received. So, where are we in this, right? 1940, after all these puppet masters are created, Grau and Batista will meet with Socialist and Communist Party, and they create this constitution. And they create a really good constitution. They create such a good constitution that when Fidel Castro will revolt, he actually uses this 1940 constitution as a way to ignite a fire in the Cuban people. Now, even when Batista took over from Grau, with all of his puppet presidents, he still continued Grau's policies. Um, and when he comes to this like agreement in 1940 for a constitution, Cuba becomes a progressive democracy. Batista legalized a communist party that was disbanded, and basically the one that Machado took got rid of and like arrested all of them. Well, that they're back in now, and governments were allowed to intervene if the economy became oppressive, but people had a safety net. So it was a little bit different now, right? Yeah, you can come in and protect your interests, but people are going to have rights. You're not going to work our people to death. So this is something that's completely different and unexpected from Batista, what we know. And remember, this is the guy that goes pew 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 and like strong arms people. And we look at all the sources of what they explain about Batista. Before 1952, he wasn't as horrible as what he would become. Now, why does he become that? Not too sure. Um, One thing that is interesting here is that he brings the Communist Party into the government because it allows the people to have hope. Um, Having a Communist Party in the Cuban government allowed people to say, "Hey, I have someone that supports unions. I have someone that supports worker rights." But ultimately, this will create corruption, negligence, and it was just designed to keep people in check. And that hope will eventually sparkle away. Um, where are we? Let's skip over this. What's in the Constitution? The Constitution was progressive. It's literally the same thing as like worker rights and things like that. But Batista runs for president in 1940 and wins, and now he's the first democratically elected president in 1941. Now, do you Jimmy boy?
Uh,
Do you remember? Did you watch Godfather 2?
No, I don't really watch movies.
Over that then, it doesn't even matter. There's a scene
Why?
in because there's a scene in it where like all these mafia meet at like on top of a casino in Havana.
Oh,
That's real.
wow. Okay.
And the person that they met was Meyer Langsy.
Is she a significant character in real life as well?
Yes. So well, I'll give you the history since I don't think you know about him. And that's we'll just do I have it? Let's see. I think I have the source. Uh, I'll look it up real quick while I talk about it. Quick recap: when Batista teams up with the students and takes over the government, he finds out that the country's in a lot of debt, and at this time, because of the Great Depression, so many people weren't coming to Havana anymore. It wasn't bringing in that tourism money it used to. It was actually became known that the horses are basically roided up, the casinos are corrupt. So he decides to make a deal with a notorious mobster, Lansky, and this smaller guy, basically from the streets of New York, he found his way through the mafia using logic, math, and fearlessness. Um, he was the kind of person that basically you didn't fuck with. Now, along with this mafia connection, there's this like weird socialist constitution that Batista created, and like you have the mafia coming in, but you also have like this hope for people. You have like this like yeah, we're gonna give you all these things, but what were they actually going to give? It's just so confusing what was happening because when you look at it overall, you can obviously tell that Batista was playing the field. Um, Batista was just literally using everything that he could to gain more and more power slowly. By the way, each time he won president here, and the first time he took over, he was stealing tons of money. It's something that doesn't get talked about a lot until like the last time he gets kicked out from Fidel. But he was embezzling money from the Cuban government basically his entire time while he was there. It would have been worth billions of dollars by today's standard. So Meyer Langsy basically had established gambling casinos in Florida, New Orleans, New York, and he wanted to go big time. He wanted to go international. So when he had the opportunity, he gets a call basically from Batista where they want to make casinos in Havana. Lancey goes over there and they start figuring out ways that they can make this massive gambling ring in Cuba. So he goes over there and he cuts a deal. He starts building these places and he starts meeting with Batista regularly. It's even known that he would meet with them at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New York. And supposedly they would get like kickbacks for certain like gambling proceedings. The racetracks would be in a mafia's control. Um, and that playground that we talked about before, well, now it was like an actual playground. So tourism was going to come back. So going into more, I guess, somewhat more detail, World War II begins to come to an end right as Batista's presidency comes in. And Batista did what he could to help. He actually sends Cuban troops over. He first declares war against Japan and then Italy. And their economy is still the same, even when Batista's president. And when this casino empire is given to Lansky, let's look at what a professor had to say. The mafia bribed the Cuban government to allow them to have free reign in building and running very successfully the gambling enterprise in Cuba. When I say successful, they basically could do whatever they wanted in Cuba for the next like 15 years without any harm. The USA could not do anything to these mafias. So even though Batista would go on to lose in 1944 to Grau, that's the guy that, he forced to resign after cooing the government with him. Yeah, he's back. The 100 Days president is back. Grau wins an election against Batista, literally after like a decade of being exiled. Anyways, Batista retires now. He rides off into the sunset. Um, and he goes to Daytona, Florida. He gets divorced, finds a new wife, has some more kids, and he spends most of his time at home in New York City, where he continues to meet with the mafia, and he continues to make deals with Cuban politics. So even though Grau is president, what is actually happening is that the mafia is controlling what's happening on the streets. The mafia is bribing. They're just they're in control of the police. They're in control of politicians. They're in control of the casinos. They're in control of the money. So Grau has no real choice. He can't really poke the bear. He built some schools. He increased his social security, but he doesn't really do much to help the people. The next president will be the same way. They can't do anything, right? Because whatever they do, they're most likely just going to get murdered. You're dealing with the mafia, and they understand that. Now, something we haven't talked about that's important about Cuba, especially since we were just talking about like Cuba, is their culture. They had casinos and they had rum, but what the mafia didn't bring was already in Cuba, and that's the people. The people had this rich culture, this Afro-Cuban and national, this Cuban like nationals. They had dancing, they had music, they had what is it, mumbo and rumba, and it brought in people like Frank Sinatra, Nat King Cole. It brought in so many people that even JFK, when he was a senator, according to the Smithsonian, which I would say is pretty reputable enough, um, the mob hooked JFK up with three women. And JFK and the three women went to the Hotel de Nacional, the same hotel that Wells was at. And the mob watched him and the orgy go on. So just like some fun little tidbits right there. Jimmy, how does it make you fun? How does it make you feel?
So JFK had an orgy.
Yeah, in Cuba. That's the kind of place Cuba had become.
Uh, well, good thing Fidel came along.
Thanks, Jimmy. All right, so Batista embezzles, he's embezzling money, controlling the news, controlling what's taught. He holds election no matter what, he's gonna win. He knows this. Um, oh, dude, I totally just fucking totally skipped. I'm so sorry. Wait, hold on. This got fucked so hard. All my notes got like mumble jumbled. I'm gonna have to like go back and like fix this. God damn it, it's gonna take forever. Um, so basically, the mafia gets rung in, and through these presidents, like things are slowing down. Batista's in, telling them what to do from New York, and it's just not happening fast enough. So for whatever reason, whatever, maybe it was the mafia that needed it, maybe it was um something that the Cuban politicians wanted. Is not too sure, but Batista says, I'm going to go back to Cuba and coup it. And in a bloodless coup, he would take over Cuba in a single day. It's kind of crazy. Um, just it's absolutely insanely crazy. Like Havana is like this beautiful place that most of the people are suffering in the country, and president after president, and then the person that cooed the government before comes back, coups again, and he's going to go on to kill several thousand Cubans. Anybody who uprises against him, he's basically going to become the person that he cooed to begin with. Just a quote from JFK. Fulgencio Batista murdered 20,000 Cubans in 7 years, turned democratic Cuba into a complete police state, destroying every individual liberty. Yet our aid to his regime and the ineptness of our policies enabled Batista to invoke the name of the United States in support of his reign of terror. Administration spokesman publicly praised Batista, hailed him as a staunch ally and a good friend. At a time when Batista was murdering thousands, destroying the last vestiges of freedom, and stealing hundreds of millions of dollars from the Cuban people, and we failed to press for free elections. That's JFK when he's a senator, not a president. So things are pretty fucked right now. You can see that like the country just like basically wasn't making any money. They brought the mafia in, and now you have like this dictator leading the country, trying to make things worse. And just for context, during this time, let's get into some statistics real quick. Here we go. And this is pretty sad, but 1951, World Bank reports 80 to 90% of children in rural areas suffer from parasites. 1956, 13% of rural population has a history of typhoid. 14% at one point had tuberculosis. A study conducted in 1959 finds that 72% of the population is afflicted with parasitism, and in rural areas, it could be as high as 87%. 1 in 4 peasants were able to afford meat, eggs, and fish. Chronic unemployment was 25%. 8% of landowners owned 75% of the land. U.S. controlled 80% of Cuba's trade. 80 fucking percent, by the way. That's crazy. 1959, 40% of Cuban sugar land, almost all the cattle, 90% of mines, and 80% of utilities were owned by American firms. Remember, 80% of the trade is controlled, which is like it's so crazy to me. 1953, average Cuban family only had an income of $6 a week. And usually they only could work half the year because they were farmers. Now, directly after the coup in 1953, there's another attempt at a revolution. The puppet master is back. He just couped the government again, and his dictator's starting to come out. And a young lawyer sees it's happening, and this is our next main character. It's Fidel Castro. And tonight we're just going to end with Fidel's upbringing. So, he would become a guerrilla fighter, but before he's a lawyer or a fighter, but he was an athlete, and before that he was a troublesome student. And it's how did he like go through all of this? Like, what the hell made Fidel Fidel? He was born to a sugar crop owner. He didn't really grow up poor. He didn't grow up super rich, though. Education was important in the household, but he bounced out of at least one of his schools for misbehaving. And he loved certain things like history, geography, debate, but sports that was his passion. Um, he begins to study law in 1945 as Batista's rule had just ended his presidency when he's democratically elected, not his dictatorship. And the 1940 Constitution was still considered an achievable document, which is very important because Fidel is fighting for the poor people. He wants to become a lawyer to help the poor people. He actually creates his own firm to help poor people. And he's doing this all based on the fact that the 1940 Constitution is giving people rights. Now, before Havana, he didn't know anything about politics. That's his words, not mine. And he would learn how much he hated the idea of a gangsterismo culture, which is what Batista had created. 1946, he begins to give more public speeches. He becomes an outspoken student at the University of Havana. And the speech, he talks about corruption and violence of Grau's governments, which remember, Grau may have let like things happen, just like the presidents ahead of him. But did they have a choice? It's kind of tough to tell because Batista was really the one in control. So even though he's anti-Grau, he's actually anti-Batista, but Batista's doing everything behind the scenes again. He's just a puppet master. It's what Batista likes to do. Now, uh, when he gives a speech about like how much he hated Grau, how much he hated the gangsters that were running his country, it hits the front newspapers, and this will lead to him befriending Eduardo Chivas, local news host and founder of the Orthodox Party, an anti-imperialist group. This group believed in democracy and constitutional changes made by protests and courts. And this is important because we're going to see how this impacts Fidel. Chivas would go on to run for president in 1951. He was a fiery person, just like Fidel, and they shared similar ideologies. They may not have been best of friends, but they definitely shared each other's dream. The same year he began his campaign to run for president, Chivas would go on to tell his thousands of listeners that Batista may be planning another coup. During that speech, he shoots himself in the stomach, and 11 days he passes away. This was live on the radios and he was expected to win the presidential candidacy. This motivated Castro to finally run for a seat in Chiba's honors. And like Chivas, he was expected to win. Voting begins in June, but Batista would coup the country in March of 1953. And when he coups, he said he's bringing in disciplined democracy and all voting, and the Constitution was frozen. Castro basically had no choice but to start going to the courts. This is something Chivas would have wanted. This is something that Chivas believes in, but the courts, they weren't going to do anything. I mean, now remember, Castro's a lawyer, right? And he wasn't the most organized person. It's known in his life that he wasn't materialistic. He didn't really pay his bills on time. One time with his wife, the utilities got turned off. That was Fidel Castro. But he tried to go to the Dominican Republic in 1947 to help the people fight their dictator. And when President Grau stopped him, and when President Grau started arresting the people, he escaped just for a few months later so that Castro can begin to lead students at the University of Havana against the mafia led police. This was in February in 1948. Fidel would get his ass beaten. It's known that he was like severely injured. Meanwhile, 2 months later, he flies to Colombia and helps protect another people against another oppressive government. And this time he gets sanctioned by the president of Argentina, Juan Perón. The point is that all I'm trying to say is he's a fighter. He may not be organized, he may not pay bills on time, but he's a scrappy guy and he's smart. He's not some like silly person. He has like a charm to him. He has like a swagger, and he's really good at persuasion, and he believes in the people. So when he goes to the courts, he believes that hey, he'll be able to do this, and he asks for the judges to face Batista or resign, and they choose to do nothing but criticize Castro. And with Chiba's ideology not working and nowhere else to go, from everything he just decided to do, from Dominican Republic to Colombia, he decides it's time to revolt. And that's it for today, because I need to like fix all my fucking notes. How do you think we are so far, Jimmy?
Honestly, pretty good research. Yeah, pretty good research. I liked
We're
it.
we're at like 25 sources, and it's pulled from all over. I hope the video is just as good. Like when we like put out clips and shit.
Yeah, you're gonna have to like um clip a lot of the stuff, throw in some pictures and stuff,
That's why I need
yeah,
you,
look
Jimmy.
all nice.
That's where I fucking need
Me,
you.
I'm not a videographer.
But you're
I'm
you're the you're the art guy.
me? No, I'm not creative.
Lies. Don't believe you at
Well,
all.
I mean, little known fact, the reason why I mean I took architecture in high school, and the reason why I didn't continue with it is because I didn't think I was creative enough.
Well,
And I went into fucking business. Yeah, business.
well, I mean, Are you good at creating something like another person's like idea?
Uh, I'm pretty bad at creating in terms of ideas.
Uh, I'm bad at creating it. Well, that's not true. I'm bad at putting it into action. I don't know if I'm bad at creating things. So I have like a different problem, I think. Like I wish I could create things. I feel like I could do like pretty good if if I did, but I just don't know
Did
how.
did you create this wallpaper?
No. Do you like my wallpaper?
But like you had some creators like that.
No, no, no. I fucking found it. This is just like it's just like a simple wallpaper, dude. There's nothing special. Fuck, you don't game. I just realized. This is horrible, Jimmy.
I'm so bad.
Why don't you game? Why don't you play Fall Guys?
I don't think I play popular stuff.
I don't know if you would like Fall Guys. Do you play chess?
No, I don't. I mean, theoretically, I should because I play games like Warhammer 2, Warhammer 3, those type of games, real time strategy stuff. But yeah, I don't play chess. Which
Do you,
didn't really grow up in the environment to play
do
chess.
you just not know how or
Oh, I know how. I mean, I never. No one had really taught me. I taught myself, but it isn't something that I found fun. So I never continued.
play me in chess?
I don't know how. Like play well. I just know the basics. I know how the things move. I have no strategy going on though. Never
Dude,
bothered to learn it. So
you got this.
I don't want to waste your time.
It's not a waste of my time. To me, it's fun. Play a friend. Challenge
No,
me.
you play. You
Copy.
play. I'll watch. Show me how to play.
God, dude.
What's your rank?
I don't really play hardcore, so I don't know. I usually just fuck around. Like if I had to guess, I'm like average. Here, well, I'll do 3 minute games. Fuck, I should change the title. Oh god damn it. That's all right.
I probably have to head out soon. Gotta wake up
Yeah.
early. Go to gym early.
Ooh, what are we doing at the gym tomorrow?
Well, my gym is the bench that I have in the living room. I'm gonna do some chest dumbbells. I'm doing the morning, so get the sweat out. No.
Fuck is this guy doing? This is why I hate my level. Like, whoa, I'm so low in this. Why am I so low? Bro, this guy's trying to play like God. All right, so for on light chess, I'm ranked I'm ranked 6 like 1550 in 3 minutes. But I think that the ranking's different and like, um on different platforms just cuz like the way the players are. Oh, you just took my rook. God damn it. These cheeky fucking players. Shang, I'm about to get my ass kicked.
Oh, you're good.
Fuck. This is so fucked. This is such a GG's. All right. I want this to look different too. But you, fuck you. Bro, leave me alone. Wait, am I check? Oh god. Like, there's no way this guy's a 1092 player. Like, he's playing so much better than that. Like on light chess, a person like this is like 1550. I I I I submit.
Surrendering already?
Oh yeah, I lost this game. I lost really bad, Shank. I got my ass kicked, Jimmy.
You know, within like the first few rounds.
Yeah. Maybe he's dumb and I could like try to pull some like crazy comeback, but I doubt it. Like right now, I'm about to kill his horse. If I could kill, yeah. See, there's nothing I could do about this. I think my biggest problem with this is I fucking hate this aesthetic so much. I know that sounds weird, but like, I don't like it. Let's see what I could do. Let's see if I can make like an impressive comeback. All right, make him move that. I'll put him in check there. That does nothing. What I should be doing is I can't move. I'm about to be checkmated. No! Oh my god. And I didn't mean to drop it there. Fuck. Whatever. Bro, you have me for checkmate. Stop being an asshole. Thank you. How do I do a new game here? No. I don't want to rematch. It's fine. All right, Jimmy. This is for you. Here we go. All right, you ready?
Right, give me a win. Give me a win before I go to bed.
Yeah, right there. Please go. God damn it, dude. Bro, leave me alone. I think I'm playing too fast. What are you doing? Oh, whoa. Well, that's not good. He's trying to fuck me. Do one of these real quick. Oh no, I fucked myself. Oh my god. Okay, it's okay. It's not that bad. We so. Uh. Man, we're so fucking tied. God damn it. Ah! I'm just not thinking. I'm not thinking at all. God, dude, I put him in a fucking lead. All right, what's he trying to do here? Probably trying for a double rook. I need to start cleaning up though. Let's see what I. Oh, dude, I give up. I quit. I quit. What am I doing? This is what I mean. I like on my phone. I do it no problem, but for some reason, like on a computer, my brain just shuts down. I don't know how to explain it. He's gonna go here. He didn't go there. That's so weird. Why would you do that? Okay, whatever. Dang, we're about to lead the revolt with our fucking our king. We're gonna call it the King's Revolt. Dude, stop being this way. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. You know what to do. Go right there. Come on, buddy. It's okay. I'm not gonna. Yep. No. Fuck you. Go there. I could check you here. Hopefully check you there. Go here. It's not good. Damn. Damn. Up again. Oh, he's gonna take the pawn. Oh, why did you take the pawn? That was a dumb move. Oh, sweet. Oh, I'm so close. We're closing in now, dude. All right, so this is I think this is gonna be kind of tough. This is not easy to do. There. I have no protection there. I need protection there. I'm at the. Well, if he goes here, oh, that's fucked. Okay. Hold on. If I go here, oh fuck, 20 seconds. Oh shit. Oh shit, Jimmy. Jimmy.
Who's winning?
I have 17 seconds. He has 20 seconds. He's winning based on time. And I can't move my king. Fuck. Let me do that. Oh no, I could have went there and won the game.
Oh shit.
Fucking A. Can I move yet? Nope. Nope. I have no time, dude.
Oh shit, it's getting intense. I guess
I
this is
won!
how. Oh, good job, Joe.
0.6, bro.
I guess this is how it becomes fun.
Did you see the ending there? Yeah, so
Yeah.
on my phone I could pre-move. Dude,
Well, if you pre-move, that's like cheating.
fuck off. That was not. Let me find like a tournament. Ooh, tournament board.
I'm gonna head to bed though. It was a great stream tonight. I learned a lot of stuff
Did you?
for the actual revolution, so that is always good. Let me know when Mark has decided to come down. No, definitely go out and enjoy some time.
Ah, You gotta let me know when you could come back on.
Yep, I'll let you know.
All right. Until next time, dude.
Till next time. Good night.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Here we go. You're kind of fucked, bro. Oh my god. I would have to. No, he's definitely fucked. GG's. Night. I don't know why he went there. It's kind of weird, huh? All right, let's go here. I'll go there. Well, that's good for me. That he wants to do that. Yeah, I don't care if you kill that. Unless you're going for the night. I wasn't paying attention. Shit, you might be going for the night. I hope he goes for this one though. Oh, oof. Why did I just do this? Aha! Hey, dude, what are you doing? I would love to take this piece if I could. Which I can with. Ooh. I don't know what he's doing with that. Yep, I don't like where this is going. Fuck, I don't really like where this is going at all. Alright, let me try this. A lot of knights down there. Good luck, friend. I'll take this piece right here. Puts me in check. Yep. Oh, he took it. Got him. Got him with the trick shot. Caught him off guard. Oh, they don't know what to do. I'm just gonna eat now. There's no way you don't know. Please go here. That's a really good move. Uh. Oh man, he has so much more time than I do. They have more. Steven. That. That. We're in a pretty good spot right now. Probably gonna go there. To whatever. Go here. Go here. Go here. Aha! Got him. Coming with a quick riff raft. Ah, GG's. You know it. Oh, I was fucking around. I got a stalemate. Oh, no. God damn it. What the fuck is the Silver League? Hold on. Oh, this is like their average? Hmm. Okay. I can play in a tournament? What's going on? Why are they taking so long? Do you know a trick I don't know? A weird thing to do, I think. Okay. I don't really know what they're trying to accomplish. What else? What would I... Why is that? Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I see, I see. What's going on? Am I losing? I don't know. Oh my god, they have more time than me. I feel like I'm up a little bit. I don't. Why would they do that? I'm so fucking sus right now. Like, thank you. Check. Um. Oh, if they kill that piece, they can put me in check. I do this. The smarter thing to do. All right, we knew that was happening. Gotta be really careful here to not accidentally mate myself. I'm gonna checkmate the queen right there. What I would do. And now you go here with the rook. Yep. I go here. They're fucked. All right, GG's. Think. We'll see. See what they try to accomplish here. Yep, checkmate. GG's. Uh, okay. What just happened? That's a good move right there though. Anything goes here, they're fucked. Oh, I need to move this though. Oh, that's an interesting move, huh? I'm in check. Oh, it doesn't tell you. What attack that? Oh my god, good move. Oh my god, it's checkmate. Holy shit. Fuck. Man, I had no idea. Ah, excuse me. No. Wait, no. What am I doing? Why'd I do that? Bro, my brain's off. Whatever, just kill that. Why? Why the fuck not? Can't put me in check. That's all that matters. Stay alive at all costs. Bro, you know I'm gonna take it. Like, you fucking dick. You already know me so well. Yep. Oh no, he could just. Oh my god. I have a plan. Too far out. Oh my god. I wasn't not paying attention. Fuck. Oh, god damn it. And this is like the first person that uses their time. Like everybody else has been fucking quick. That's a weird move to me. Where are you gonna go from here, friend? Can I go back? Oh man. Still my pawn. Okay. It's good to know I can go back. I had no idea you could. Dude, you could go there. It's not checkmate. I move my queen. Like, what are you thinking, bro? I guess he's trying to get the. Yeah. No, he doesn't even get that. What the fuck's the point? Get out. Get the fuck out. Get out now. Get out of my house. Gotta go there. Nice. +1 right now. Cool. You're mine. You fucking. What? Uh, fine. I just gave up the. Oh, I'm in trouble. I'm not in a bad spot anymore. Oh, he has no more time. Awesome. Cool. I was not paying attention to their fucking time. Gotta play smart. Get these fucking blocks in. Oh god, that doesn't matter. Checkmate is right there. Fuck. Alright, the easiest thing to do is tack the queen. Can't do that. I generally do have to get rid of that fucking pawn. I'm gonna move you. Oh, it's checkmate once he moves here. Oh no, I just gotta move the queen. Remember? Okay. Whoa, why are you doing that now? I mean, I want. Okay, that's fine. I don't know what they're trying to do now. I'm kind of confused. Interesting moves. I'm running out of fucking time. God damn it. I'm just fucked up. God damn it. All right, I'm done. I think it's so fucking late. My brain is just off. Grr, those that are watching, thank you for watching. Really appreciate it as always. Um, hopefully we have more for tomorrow and we'll get more views of one or more views when actually video comes out. But like, haven't received much feedback. Sucks, but hopefully we get some feedback on this video so when we make the next one, we could get even more feedback because that's honestly what's important. So for those that have watched, thank you and stay hydrated. It's warm out there. Eat your veggies and make sure you have a fresh pair of socks. I'm gonna go eat some food. Have a good night, everybody, or morning.